And that's us live. Good evening, folks. Thanks for coming in. You're all very welcome. So tonight, as you can see, we have two lovely ladies on the panel. I'm trying to get the fingers right. Sorry. They're there. We are joined by two lovely ladies. We have international Hollywood medium Patti Negri back again. It's been a long, long time, Patti, since we had you on. Over a year.
Has.
Been quite some time. And we have history buff and big Patti fan, Kate. Now I'm going to pronounce your second name wrong, isn't it? Frasi.
Yeah, perfect. Well done, Frasi.
Kate Frasi. Kate's going to be joining us on our John the Zoom interview, etc. But so Patti's back.
Yay!
And
Hollywood.
How's the Hollywood weather doing? We've been having a bit of heat wave in Scotland.
No, it's perfect. Like today is probably a sunny 80 degrees. It's perfect.
So we were kind of having Hollywood weather last week then.
Yeah.
California weather. Hi, Facebook user. Hi, Nikki. So what have you been up to, Patti? I know you've been a busy lady.
Yeah, I've been crazy, but I've been on the road a lot. I'm doing like paranormal conventions, paracons, and both filming with Ghost Adventures, and then all of my YouTube guys who I love so much. You know, my overnight guys, and I just did another show about haunted hotels. So I'm on the road. I think I've been on the road almost every week this year so far. I've got like 20 more trips this year in between, all through the States and as far as Tasmania. I just was in Australia twice, so it's really fun. I'm just lucky. It's like, yay, this is work. This is good. But everything's good. So I've been busy, and my network, Paraflix, is going really well. We've got great content now, my streaming network, and my school, University Magicus, that we started both about the same time, almost 2 years ago, is going great. I have over 20 teachers now teaching all different forms of magic and spirituality and belief systems. And so that's going, yeah, I keep busy. And my book deadline.
Where do you find the energy? That's what I was saying to Kate just before we came on. You're always on the go, you know. And when do you sleep? How do people keep up with you?
I usually sleep about 5 hours a night, like one or two to 6. I decided I should get more sleep, so I'm going to try to go for 6 now. But I sleep really well. I just don't sleep a lot because I work pretty much 7 days a week, every day, because on the weekends you're on the road or doing events and appearances or filming. And a lot of filming is at night, or live events are at night. So that just doesn't leave too many hours for sleep. But I love it. The energy is just there. I believe that we will have what we need to have if you learn how to work with energy and life force and space and intent. It all works.
So that's what I think I've said to you a few times. You know, when you've been on, it's you're always on the go, and you get very little sleep, and it's just, I think it's amazing. You know, the amount that you kind of keep going and going and going, and you never get tired. You never get bored or anything.
How can you get bored when every day is different? I mean, I can't. If I had a regular day job, and I've had a million, I would get bored. But now it's like one day you're on some big event and it's private jets, private helicopter, and the next day it's like budget, and you're in a Winnebago with 48 other people, and the next day you're on a stage speaking to 1,200 people, and the next day you're around a little seance table with 13 people. Next day you're one-on-one with people. I can't imagine getting bored. Almost every day I wake up and I go, where am I? I'm in Chicago, I'm in Indiana, I'm in Ohio, I'm in Texas. Where am I? Wake up in hotels half the time. It's like, let me figure it out. So I can't get bored.
You don't have time to get bored. Now, as I say, Kate's a big fan. And I know she's been dying to speak to you and ask you some stuff. And this is a disclaimer. I've got no idea what she's going to ask you, Patti. So you don't blame me.
You can ask me anything. There's nothing off the table. You can ask me anything. If I don't have answers for it, I'll tell you, or I'll make it up. No.
So I'll mute myself and I'll let Kate ask you what she's going to ask you. That's all right.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Scott. And thank you so much, Patti, like for your time, because like you were saying, you're such a busy lady. And yeah, we just really, really appreciate you being on the show and for me to have this opportunity to ask you questions. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's amazing. So I want to say, I actually know you from the Overnight channel because I'm a massive fan of them, of Elton and Corey, and I didn't realize that you were also in Ghost Adventures. I kind of realized that later, so I apologize.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how is it working with the Overnight crew?
I love it. I love all those guys so much. And they learn, they really do. I teach them as we go. And they're eager students, and they learn how to open the veil. They learn how to be respectful. They're so gifted. Corey is off the charts gifted, psychically and stuff. So I teach them like they're my students, but it's fun.
Aww.
You know, like all the filming that we've done and the live events that we've done. And I went on a little bit of their tour in the Winnebago, and
wow.
they're great. I just sent off, you know, I have a new line, Power Panties. I just sent Corey and his girlfriend Devin a custom pair we just designed for them because, you know, superheroes have magic underwear, Mormons have magic. I've been doing this for decades. A-list movie stars that like, okay, you have to wear this color blue undergarment and picture this sigil and symbol and this word and this intent. And now I've got them commercially and they're doing really good. So
oh, that's cool. So it's kind of like Lucky underwear.
Kind of like Lucky, but there's it's like Lucky underwear, but there's actually magic, a spell attached, like this little 30-second breathing thing. There's one for intuition and for luck and for strength and for health and for wealth. And there's like 20 different kinds, and they have symbols on them, magic sigils that I always work with, and the word on them. And they got love.
Oh, that's amazing. That's such a good idea. I think that's quite a niche thing, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen magic panties.
I don't think so either. And they're doing really well. They're online. And if anybody is interested, go to mysterycontrol.com. And if you put in code Patti, P-A-T-T-I, you get 25% off. Change your underwear, change your life. That's my new slogan, because I've done it always. Change your underwear, change your life. You need money, you need love, you need luck, you need a good job. For years, it's like, oh, I've got to have the right color blue underwear if you have an important meeting or interview or job thing. And now it's extra built in.
It's like empowering, isn't it?
Completely.
Definitely. I'll check it out. Yeah, it's exciting.
Can I just jump in? And I've never heard of magic underwear. That's a new one to me. That's definitely.
I probably have a bunch of pairs. We have them for boys and girls. Every style, high top, low top, thong style, boy shorts, yoga shorts. And I have a whole line, spellcaster line. The t-shirts and the hoodies go with them, which are great. And they come with like magic too. But it's I mean, what more intimate? What place can you put an article of clothing on those most basic of chakras? Put some intent in them and they work.
Yeah, it's a good idea, definitely. I think that's so nice. I think, as you said, working with the team and that they're willing to learn, they're open-minded, and they're taking into consideration everything that you tell them, from protection to
I love it. I'll see episodes that I'm not on, and they're doing a Ma chanter, they're doing the EOFOA chanter, they're doing everything so differently now. They all have little dragons. They all have everything that I teach.
That's amazing. Yeah, and you can really see it, like the evolution, which is amazing. Like from your earlier videos with them to the more recent ones, it's fantastic. So yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, they're just dolls to work with. Really good guys.
May I ask, how does it compare to Ghost Adventures? Is it very different working?
It isn't. I mean, there is an age difference. The Ghost Adventure guys are 40 something and it's network TV, and these guys are more 20 something, though Elton's 30. But so there is that little bit of generational, but the way we're the same. These guys to me are sort of like young Zachs. it's the enthusiasm, the belief that it's not just like we're going ghost hunting or just for the whatever of it. It's like they're committed to it. They crank it up to 11. That's what Zach and Aaron and Jay and Billy do, and that's what Corey and Elton and their whole team do. That's what's the same. So it's not that different. It's they both goof around. The YouTubers get to goof around a little more than the network guys, but in reality, when they're all goofy. They're all fun.
That's good. Yeah, you can see like how you have such a connection with both teams, and it's lovely. Really, really nice. I wanted to ask something specifically about Elton, because a lot of his recent videos, he's getting a lot back on the oh god, what's the name that they use for recording voice, the voice recorder.
Oh, on the Spirit Box or something? Yeah.
Not the Spirit Box. It's the one where you record voices.
Right. I like a voice, whatever, a recorder.
Yeah, yes. Voice recorder. I totally just forgot the name. There's been a lot of aggressive responses on that, and it makes me wonder, does he have an attachment because of all the things that he's gone through? Do you think he has an attachment?
I think he's gotten them. I think he gets them. I think one reason I do work with them is to teach them how to get rid of it when it gets on fast enough, how to try to not go home with it, not to take it home to your house.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they go in dark and scary places that you're going to get stuff attached. And again, on the good side of they commit 110%, on that, they commit 110%. So there's going to be some, skin yourself when you jump off too high a cliff. Yeah.
Yeah. EVP, that was it. EVP recorder.
EVP, yeah. They're going to get aggressive because they're going to aggressive places and they're stronger with it. But I think that they would call me if anything got too bad. And I have done clearings. I've had, Corey and his girlfriend Devin come over, stuff that he brought home before, and then it got in their apartment. I'm going to actually go clear their new house next month.
Oh, wow. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. When you say about clearing their house, what would you say to people that are very skeptical about using sage? I've heard there's a big divide.
I'm skeptical of it too. It's harsh. It's really harsh. Native American, it's being overused and not properly farmed. Right. Some Native Americans are, indigenous people are not happy about it because we're not using it right. And I think more than anything, not that I won't occasionally use it, literally maybe once a year if something's really dark, because I think sage is just too harsh. It gets rid of everything. If you're clearing a house or a space, it gets rid of the good and the love and the memory and everything good as well as the bad. Something like Palo Santo gets rid of the negative and the bad and the unwanted, but it keeps the love and the good. Sage gets rid of everything. So if you just go and sage your house, especially if you're doing it counterclockwise, if you just sage your house and then leave it, it's almost like creating a vacuum. It's like dusting your house and then leaving the doors and windows open in a dust storm, because you're going to pull the same thing back, something different or something worse. So when people say, you go, it feels so good for a while, but it doesn't anymore. Right. So even if you do use sage or you use something else, you clear it, then you fill it back up clockwise with love and happiness and abundance and wealth, whatever you want, joy, memories. Use sweet incense, frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, bring in bells of chimes to fill it up so much with the good stuff that you want. And if you want to talk to ghosts, never use sage. Sage gets rid of spirits. It's like, that's not good if something you want to talk to. So I am, if you know how to use sage and you're respectful of it and you know how it's harvested and you know what to do and you know that you're going to get rid of the good and the bad and the ugly with it and you know how to use it, then it's a fine tool as anything else. Other than that, I would lean towards Palo Santo is my favorite.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's really interesting. And when you say about bringing the good back in, you spoke a lot about vibrations, right, with the bells. And do you use any spells with that as well?
I go around literally. I will have, so first we'll set up the sacred space. If we're doing a clearing on a house or whatever, set up a sacred space, a place that you really consider the heart of the home, whether it's the dining room table, the coffee table, sitting in the middle of your room, and do candles and incense and just everything that you want, that you're going to clear with. I work with all the elements, air and fire and water and earth. So whether we have a candle, we'll have some incense, we'll have herbs, we'll have oils, we'll have all sorts of things. And I'll walk through with maybe dowsing rods and feel where things are good, where things are bad, what's heavy, what's light, what's stuck. If I see portals and things, just that first walkthrough. Excuse me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
I can feel I'm going to choke, but so then on the clearing, I set up sacred space, claim what I'm doing, and then make sure you go, everybody above the equator, go counterclockwise to clear. It's magnetics as much as anything else spiritual. So sorry. Okay, so go counterclockwise with your loud bells, hitting pots and pans together. There's your Palo Santo or even your sage. Push it out windows, push it outdoors, use a broom. I always use a broom, even if it's not your magical broom, pushing out doors and windows, whether they're open or not, pushing out through windows, pushing out through mirrors. TV shows that are sets that are off are black mirrors. Push it out through there. And you're not putting anything in at the same time. You're just getting rid of anger, ghosts, spirits, anything negative, anything, illness, tiredness, out the door. Then it's going to feel really good. But you don't want to stop there. A lot of people stop there. Now you want to go clockwise and fill it up. Now is when I want to bring in the frankincense or myrrh or sandalwood, sweet bells ringing or chimes. I will literally bring in like a magic wand. Okay, point at the front door. What do you want? Harry Potter all the way. First time through, I might use a knife to slice through things, because in witchcraft, the knife cuts and slices the knife, but the wand directs energy. So point at your front door. Who's allowed in your front door? You don't have to name names, but only people invited in, people with respect for me, my family, my home, everything. That's who's allowed in. How do you want to feel when you walk in the door? Oh, relax, safe. How do you want your guests to feel, your family members? Okay. How put attributes in every room. If it's your living room, that's where you relax, watch TV, communication, fill it up with color, with scent, with intent. Every window, what gets to come in this window? You state it. Your fresh air, inspiration, beauty, birds singing, breeze, whatever. So you're not letting in burglars. Kitchen, yummy food, working appliances, full cupboards. Bedroom, master bedroom, great sleep, great intimacy, kids' rooms. That would be, safety, creativity, education, warmth, room by room. Bathrooms are the most important because they have mirrors all over the place. They have water, which conduits thing. Turn every water into this sacred like spa. Keep salt in your bathroom. So a little, even though you don't have time for like cleansing salt bath, a little pinch of salt on the floor of your shower, you've just turned that into a cleansing bath. When on your commode, on the toilet, that's a big, beautiful water cauldron. Water cauldron gets rid of emotion. If you have a little pinch of salt on the commode before you sit down, and when you go to the bathroom or leave yourself, which everybody on the planet does, get rid of stress or anger or sadness or pain or illness. Flush it right down. All these tools of nature are around us, whatever your belief system. Go room by room, and then you get to your whole house, and it's got the bad stuff you got rid of, the good stuff you've all filled it up. It's maybe $1 worth of supplies, and that's it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so interesting. Would you say a lot of it is intention as well?
Huge. Everything is intention. Without intention, there's nothing. All the other things are tools: the herbs, the oils, the sigils and symbols. But if you just have intention is energy directed. We're all manifestors. We make things harder than they have to be more often than not. We make things struggle more often than not, because that's just the human nature. But yes, hugely intention. And in intention, remember, don't use negative intention, even to get rid of, like, I'm clearing this. You don't want to go, I'm not poor, because the universe doesn't hear not, and all it hears is poor. Like you want to go, I'm rich or I'm abundant. So do that with your house clearing too, because the universe doesn't hear not words or negative words. It can't tell the difference.
Sure. Oh.
So Pat, there's a couple of things we've been discussing on, other guests on other shows, and I wanted your opinion on them.
Okay.
Because obviously, you're doing it for years, you're big in the paranormal and what have you. One of the things was, do spirits have any concept of time? Basically what I mean is, say you do an investigation on a Saturday night, and then, you wind it up, you go home, you get back to the same location the following Saturday night. So to us, that's 7 days, gap. Do you think that Spirit sees that as 7 days, or Spirit sees that as us going out the door and coming straight back in?
In all my experience, again, talking to Spirit since I was a toddler, a little 3 or 4 year old, and doing seances since I was 7, there is no time and space on the other side. And that's hard for our little human brains. So if they don't have time and space, we're here, we're here, we're here. That's why when we do things like seances or mediumship or galleries or in paranormal investigation, same thing, it gives them a sense of real time. So it's like, oh, ask, answer, talk, whether we ring the Kate too, whatever it is, it gives them that sensation like being alive in their other existence of no time and space.
Do you think the Spirit has the say you get, a spirit from maybe the 18th century, and this is something we've found in investigations, and I've always wondered, and you get a spirit from the 18th century, and we'll go out and use cameras. Now, we've had a couple of responses when we've been out. One particular one was we were investigating, and we were going to move with 3 cameras running, and we were going to move the cameras about, but it came through. We were using the Spirit Talker app, and it came through the Spirit Talker app more or less straight away, leave the camera alone. So that started making me think, if you get a spirit for the 18th century, whatever, they still get the capacity to learn, pick up things, they know what a camera is, what a K2 is, things
they probably don't at first, but if it's a haunted place that a lot of people go to, they're going to learn. Just like in school, that's why I like trigger objects like little teddy bears for spirit ghosts and things that aren't frightening to them. I have one, it's just kind of like an ovulus that's in a crystal ball. Old time from the 1800s, they'll understand the crystal ball. I can talk to that. Or something that looks like Star Trek, they can't. So, but I think I've had spirits that have no idea. They're afraid of a lot of the flashing light and equipment and cameras. But if they're getting used to it, they would learn like anything else. Like, oh, that's those things. And they're as smart as they ever were, and usually a little smarter. Not that you're way smarter, you just get a higher perspective of things.
Well, investigate, we tend to be a basic team. There's teams, and no disrespect to them, I've said it many times, but they use tech, whatever, and I suppose tech can be handy for validating evidence, but I always think that basic is better when investigating. Like a compass, a ping pong ball, simple things.
I know that Patti uses dowsing rods, don't you? They're like your thing.
Dowsing rods is my number one thing, is dowsing rods, because it's a really easy form of communication. You can get nuances if you learn your rods and learn how. Spirits don't seem frightened by them. I have light up ones, I have regular ones, and they've been around forever. I mean, water witches, that's how, contractors find water lines, how you find water in the desert. They've been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. It won't scare so much. Yeah.
I actually watched a program. It was a lady. She was building a house. Her and her family were building a house in the middle of nowhere, basically. And one of the things she had to find was water. And she brought in this guy who was well known in the area. for using the dowsing rods and finding water. So she brought the guy in and she said, basically, I need to find water. And he says, just leave it with me. And he went for a wander in this one particular field. And, you're talking, within an hour, he says, you've got water right here. And sure enough, the contractors started digging down and they found water. The guy was spot on. We've never used them because, to be honest, we don't actually understand them.
Right. Everyone has nuances. I think because they're just a tool for energy. Like some people use pendulum. Energy. Our bodies are the best tool. I got from the simple. I got goosebumps to I feel it on my left ear. It's energy, and dowsing rods are an easily movable thing. It's all getting down to science eventually, and magnetics and all sorts of things like that, and moving energy, and more science and spirituality and magic stuff is crashing together with the quantum sciences. So it's just different languages for the same thing. But I like dowsing rods. Mine have very specific, like mine crosses yes and don't crosses no. They will lead, where's the spirit? They'll lead to the right, they'll lead to the left, they'll lead to portals. Mine have little nuances, like if it's right over left on mine, especially divination or questions, that means that spirit or that human person is what's making that happen, either their intent or their actions or whatever. If it's left over right, that's outside forces. That's somebody else or God or the universe. So you get the nuances, like everybody's on the same or here or going away, or you're chasing it, but something doesn't want to be found, or something's chasing you and you're running away from it, not literal chasing. So that you get to know your dowsing rods, and it's not just yes, no. There's lots of nuances. And then add your own intuition into it, and you start getting this whole story.
I know Kate's got a question, but I've got one. Actually, I'm looking for your advice on something.
Okay.
Right? We've been doing a location. We've done it about 3 times. Nobody's ever done this location before, but there's one particular room. It's like a big games room. Right in the middle of this room, we always get the K2 spiking right up to red. Now, there's no wiring, round about it. There are lights up above, but I tested it and I stood on the table and lifted the K2 up and it went dead. I put the K2 on the floor, it went dead. And when you go to, a certain distance left and right, it goes dead. It's just in this one middle area in this room. And we can't figure out why. Do you think that could maybe be a portal of some kind? Or
this would be my first. It's a portal or a vortex of some sort, or a slip in time and space, which is kind of what a portal is, or an opening. That's what I would say it is, which means it's just a portal itself, or because it's a portal, there's spirits staying in there all the time, or a little bit of both. But if you've already debunked the electricity thing and everything, and it's one area. So next time, if you're working with your any kind of talkie box or your dowsing rods, is there a spirit here, or is it a portal? And you can figure that out.
So that it's the same room as we got that response with, leave the camera alone. And but we just couldn't figure it. And then the last time I started thinking, what if it is a portal? What if there is something here? So I was thinking again about it the other day, and I thought, well, we'll get Patti coming on in a couple of days' time. I'm going to ask the lady herself because she'll know what she's talking about, So there's a good chance that I was right about the portal there.
I'd say a good probability that you are right. That's the first place I would go with it, definitely.
Patti Negri says I'm right. That's good.
You're right. Yay!
That's one of these male moments, when you know you're right about something. Don't happen very often, but when and you grab it and you still go on about it. I mean, this is what, June. I'll probably still be November, December. She's like, Patti Negri said I was right. 6
You're
months.
right. You can say that all you want. You're right.
So there you go, folks. I've got Patti Negri's endorsement on one of the theories. That kind of thing.
Right now. Yes.
Woohoo! But I like Kate. I'm sure she's got another couple of questions or whatever for you.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. I hope you don't mind, Patty, but I'm going to go into kind of the more serious, well, not serious, but like heavy side of the topics. And I just wanted to delve into your beliefs and ask, what would you say to somebody who's maybe in hospital and they have a fear of passing? How would you comfort them? What would you say to them, like with the knowledge that you have?
Well, what I know for the knowledge that I have is that people on the other side are fine. They are fine. Death is hardest on those left living. Nothing dies of energetically. Your spirit cannot die. Your soul cannot die. Science is proving that again, where science and spirituality is passing together. Nothing dies. You just lose your meat suit. And if they're in the hospital and dying, or there's an accident or illness, maybe your meat suit just wore out, but you would hand them one of the 8,000 books of people who died and then came back. They were forced to come back, or they came back. Almost every one of them says, I didn't want to come back. It was so fabulous on the other side. They experience different things, because my belief system is kind of close to the ancient Sumerians, which kind of combines everybody's belief system. They literally believe kind of you went to the afterlife that you believed in. So if you believe in pearly gates, the traditional Christian, whatever, that's where you're going to go. Almost like the Matrix. Reincarnation, I believe in reincarnation. You're just becoming part of the great Akashic records. It's great. But pretty much everybody says it's really great. So it's try to comfort them, know that they really aren't going to die. In the mundane world, they will live on in people's memories and everything that they did. And in spirit world, they'll just be different, just change. But we as humans are afraid of change. So it's like, get used to change, embrace it. Fear can freeze us in our tracks. Fear can make us not live the life we could live, not do what we want to do, not make that phone call, not becoming a paranormal investigator. Or fear's $1 million industry that we're all in. People go on ghost hunts, and you ride roller coasters and adventure travel. So the same fear that make you, I'm so afraid of this day, I'm afraid and I'm going for it, like a roller coaster. Just flip it. Like, I don't know what I'm getting into and I'm scared, and I'm going to embrace this. Because fear could be an energizer or flat you out. And I don't even know what books, just experience after experience after experience of living people who came back, and of the God knows how many legions of dead people I've talked to. They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. That's really reassuring. And do you think that we have a choice to reincarnate, or does it just happen?
No, I think we do. I think this life, this mundane human experience is a form of school. A lot of people don't like it. I do. I like people. And then the other side is school. I do think, again, sort of like I see it a little bit like the Matrix movie. Again, you kind of create it. On the other side is where we're learning other things. And I do think we have choices. I think we even, I'm going to come back. I believe we choose our parents, not because, they're going to be nice to me, but this is the lesson I need to learn. This is the world I'm going to put myself into. If living or life, whether corporeal body or not, is school, I think we're just, some people pick higher education and some people don't, and that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, definitely. Yeah, I had another question about that as well. I've totally forgotten it now. I was thinking too hard about it, I think.
It'll come back.
It will come back to me, definitely. I wanted to ask, what's your belief about demons? Because lots of people say they exist, lots of people say they don't. What's your stance on demons?
I think they do exist. I think where there's light, there's dark. Whether, I don't know if it's the Judeo-Christian, the good and evil thing, but there's high vibration and low vibration, though I think they get way too much credit. I honestly think 99% of what people think is demonic. It's just cranky ghosts, cranky spirits, cranky elementals to me, the little bit I've experienced anything truly demonic, it's like there's not a question in your mind. No, that's just a cranky ass ghost. They were cranky in life and they're cranky in death. We give it way too much credit and we give it way too much power. I do believe that a dark side exists again, and I think we are all going to see it different ways.
Talking about the dark side, what's your belief about what happens to those who choose a very violent and brutal life, and impacting others? I'm talking about criminals and all the worst of the worst, basically. What do you think?
I think that they will, again, it's part of their lesson, however they chose that. I think, I don't personally believe in burning in hell, but if they believe in it, then they probably will. But I believe, again, they're going to have a harder lesson. Maybe they'll come back in a harder life, again, it's really hard. Our little tiny human brains, I think, are like peas and whatever. It's hard enough for us to even understand a world without time and space, let alone something else where we manifest and don't manifest and learn and create. I do believe in karma, though, or whatever that is, that cause, because in science it would be cause and effect, action and reaction.
Yeah, no, that's reassuring, because I'm a big believer in karma as well.
Yeah, me too. And sometimes it experiences in this life, and it's who knows whatever another life. But a lot of people, again, if you live a bad, evil life, you're caught, you go to jail. But even if you don't, those are people who live in anger, they live in paranoia, they live in fear. Even if they aren't caught, a lot of them are mentally sick, and that's another thing in itself. But if you're truly making evil choices, dark choices, we have free will. But again, everything has cause and effect. Oops, sorry.
No problem. Would you say that there's a type of purgatory, though, where spirits that can't pass over or are somewhat trapped? Would that be a good description for it?
It could be a good description. I see there's a transition time. It's a 40-day transition time. Like, I won't try to contact anybody when they pass. It's 40 days. It's the liminal space, the space in between. It's even biblical. Like, Lent is 40 days. Noah, the flood was 40 days. Moses was lost, 40 days. Jesus tempted for 40 days. So I think I don't try to contact somebody, and that's kind of like, I don't exactly know what they're doing, but it's that transition time. But I do think that there's some spirits do get stuck here. I think most spirits, they're because they want to be there, but some do get held down. There's some really dark places like the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles that there's something been so big, could be called demonic. I think it's more created egregore that holds these spirits in. Or sometimes spirits don't, I call them shades, like they don't know they're dead. That's where they're kind of like zombies. Maybe they died violently or unexpected, or it wasn't in the great plan of fate. Because I do think we dance between fate, things we cannot control, destiny, things we can accomplish or not, and then free will, which trumps everything to be able to move it around. And we have to dance between all of them. And sometimes that gets mushy.
That's a really good way of putting it. I do have a question, Scott, because we were talking about this the other day. When a spirit asks through the spirit box or whatever device, "Am I dead?" How do you reply to that?
We were talking about that. Do you tell them you're dead, or you're still? I think I would say, I would tell them, you're still here. You still exist, kind of thing. What do you think, Patti?
Yeah, I would say something like that. You are not in your living meat, I call it a meat suit body, but you're still here in spirit. So you passed on from the human experience, and now you're in a spirit experience. That's why I'm a big believer in dumb suppers when somebody does die at that 40-day period or anytime after. Do a dumb supper for them. Don't have it be your deceased grandfather or deceased friend. Have it your spirit grandfather. Cut those cords of human to human. Now make it, you can have a relationship with a spirit grandfather versus a deceased grandfather.
I mean, it's known all over with most religions that they give offerings. It's very similar,
Yes.
right? To give them
Yes.
maybe even some more energy. There have been cases and investigations where offering food actually does seem to give them some energy from,
Yes.
you just don't know if it's
Candles,
the food
food,
or,
memories,
yeah,
energy, and to all of the above. That's why it's good. In my pagan belief system, you have an ancestor altar. Light
yeah,
candles to your beloved light.
Kate saying offerings. I offered a spirit a cigarette once, just trying it, and I got positive reactions for the K2. 4 or 5 different questions asked, and it's because I was asked if they wanted a cigarette, and it went to yellow. And I says, well, if you want one, can you make that box go? I call it a box. I know a lot of people call it a device or a K2. I call it a box because I figure, well, if you've got a ghost, a spirit for the 15th, 16th century, they know what a box is. Whereas you say a K2, what's a K2?
Right.
So I says, can you make that box go to yellow again? And it went to yellow again. Says, right, well, I'll leave this here on the step for you, if that's okay. And I says, no, if you're going to say thank you, make that box go to yellow for me again. And it went to yellow again. Whereas the rest of the time, it'd just been sitting totally flat. So I called it the smoking ghost. I didn't know what else to call it. I found that
yeah.
but
That's like,
sorry, Kate.
no problem. Just before you leave that topic, it's like when Corey Corbin and Elton were playing poker with the spirit, and they were getting amazing results by playing poker.
Yeah.
And it just shows that they sometimes just want to be involved or remembered. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And so you don't have to always lead in with how did you die? Maybe lead in, what did you love to do? What's your favorite
Yeah.
color? Did you do sport? I mean, you like music, something that human living would want to answer over. How'd you die? What are you sick of?
Yeah. And sometimes not obsessing over devices, because a lot of investigators really do focus on the devices, and it's like sometimes you just want to know more about the actual spirit, right? About these things, what they like to do, and hobbies and games and things. Yeah.
Just what you're saying, Kate, about no focusing on devices, we'll use ping pong balls and we'll put a wee mark at the top of the ball, a wee cross or whatever, just sit on the floor. And it's not worked yet, but it might work in the future. And we'll just say, there's balls on the floor if you want to play with them or you want to move them, but we don't totally focus on them, but we just kind of leave it lying. But we keep an eye on it to see if the ball does move. It's not moved to this day, but who knows, it might move in the future. I just want to jump back to you saying, Patty, about the 40 days thing. Now, there was a gentleman, I'm not going to name him, but a couple of weeks ago he was offering private readings, and he had all these conditions laid out. You must be 18, no heart conditions. But one of the conditions was that whoever you're trying to contact must be passed for at least 6 months. And I couldn't work this out. Why? Why 6 months? Surely there shouldn't be any time kind of thing on it.
No, I don't know what 40 days, it's actually astrological. It's a planetary movement. Again, that's why it's in every religion under different things. Like it's from here to there. It's the liminal space. I don't know what 6 months is. Maybe it's just something I don't know, but I've never heard that.
I just found it weird. One thing, the other thing I want to ask you, Laura, she's in our team. She's watching, and she can see animals, animal spirits. But I've been reading different people's views on this. Do animals have a soul? Or are they just animals, dumb animals? And when they die, that's it. They're gone, basically. What's your view on, say, a cat or a dog, or even a budgie? For instance,
budgie, or we call them parakeets. I think, of course, everything has a spirit and a soul. Everything, every living thing. A little rock, a little crystal has a spirit of whatever the amethyst does, of love, a spirit of the protection in a dark it's the solidity of wood, the strength of a tree. Everything has a spirit. I think somewhere in the Christian church, they took out animals having spirits because it was a control thing. Animals often are the first ones to come to my seances. I'll be like, okay, who has a 3-legged German Shepherd with a purple collar? And somebody will raise their hand because they just love us. They don't. And animals see spirits because it hasn't got taught out of this. You guys, most of you do in paranormal investigations, you know that something comes in, your dog or your cat's going to know it. They're going to know it. They see it. It hasn't got taught out of them. I believe we see it. We're born seeing it. Everybody has some form of the gift. But in our modern, Western, non-magical, non-mystical society, we took the magic out of everything, even out of spirituality and religion. We made everything your imaginary friend or the story behind it. But that hasn't been done to animals. Animals really, they are with us so much. They will, former pets are new pets things. It's great.
I think that, I mean, I know there is a theory that once you pass your spirit, you can go anywhere, basically, Scotland, France, wherever you want to go, you can go. Whether that's true or not, who knows? First place I'd go would be Graceland. I'd be off to Graceland. That'd be me, But with animals, say for instance, a cat, passes away. Do you think that cat will stay close to its owner? Or well, can I just wander as cats? Might sound a stupid question.
I know a lot that hang out. My former dog hangs out, and I have former cats that have. I think they could do whatever. And again, if there's no time and space, Scott, they can do they could be, the story about the Rainbow Bridge. They could be frolicking on the Rainbow Bridge in a field somewhere or the heavens somewhere, or part of that great consciousness of their kittydom, and hang out at their favorite house.
Maybe this is like asking too personal a question, Patti, but in that belief, are you a vegan or a vegetarian?
I'm actually not. If I think about it too hard, I would wish that I was, because I love animals so much.
Yeah,
I do. But I've tried it, and I don't know if it's blood type or body type. I've just not seemed to be built for it. Maybe, I'm not saying forever it might change, but I tried it, and I've tried it and tried it, and my health suffers, and I can't have that. So what I do try to do is be respectful of the meat I eat, more like any indigenous people or Native Americans. Bless your food. Thank the animal that gave up its life for food.
and
Be
not wasting. Yeah.
Yeah,
interesting.
I know we're kind of limited for time, but you mentioned the Cecil Hotel a few minutes ago. Now, we did a show together about the Cecil Hotel, because obviously you did it with Ghost Adventures. I've been reading here and there the past few weeks, couple of months, whatever, that there's a lot of people saying, the Cecil Hotel's not haunted. It's a money cow or something. That is, I think the expression is
cash cow.
Cash cow, that's it. Money cow. I was kind of right, but not right.
But no, I think either of you would walk by it and you'd be depressed within minutes. The closer you got, the more sad, angry, hopeless, and depressed you would be. It's been that forever. And I believe there is spirits that are being held there by a bigger spirit, whether that's demonic or self-created, like an egregore or a Faraday or a tulpa that's holding it in. I've been there probably more than anybody in the capacity of paranormal. I spent 2 nights there on Ghost Adventures. I spent a long night and all night with Corey and Elton and the guys.
Yeah,
I did another show, and then my friend Sebastian and I we snuck in and bribed our way in for only $100 once. So I know the Cecil. It's haunted. And I'm sad because they're moving it. They don't want you to think that. No, they're going to change things because they're moving in homeless people. Concept great. It's right at Skid Row. There's hundreds of people without a home at all. There's 700 empty rooms. It makes sense you would move them in, but it makes you so depressed. and it affects good, strong, healthy people like any of us. It really affects people with maybe a mental imbalance or an addiction problem, which is kind of everybody moving in. They're already jumping out of windows and stuff. I've seen it on the news. I have 2 friends who live across the street in fancy apartments, but right across the street, ambulances are pulling up. And you go there and people look like zombies coming in and out, not just because they're formerly homeless. That place, it just
sucks it out
it
of
is
you,
an
doesn't
attack
it?
in itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's cash cow about it? There's no money anybody gets out of it. They won't even play into the paranormal thing at all. The last show I did there, the CW show, they wouldn't even let us in. We had to go to apartments across the street and go outside and do everything. I really, really I would love to gather every healer, every priest, preacher, rabbi, shaman, Native American, anybody who works in light, anybody who works in love, to like gather around the whole building, hold hands, and clear the place. Every belief system, because it needs it. People are just going to keep dying, and they are.
You should totally do that, Patti. You should like do a petition, like just to get loads of people involved, and
I know.
it could be a world record. You
I
never
know.
know.
I've been saying that, and people can do it. Anybody who would come in, and a lot of people I've talked to will, and people can't. You could do it from all over the world. Send your energy. Give them the coordinates of these streets and this, grid line coordinates. Just think of people all over the world. We're just sending love and healing. I think that's the only thing that will work. I know, but I know I'll get in trouble. So I've got to figure out how to get it out to our community, get it out to people who would want to help, and not get it out to the authorities so they don't arrest me.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, who is a crime reporter, talk to somebody at the LA Times. There's a really good reporter at the LA Times, like kind of get his input on it, and maybe it could be kind of covered.
Yeah.
And even if we don't go inside, we don't have to go inside. They won't let us inside. Now, those are people's homes. Some people, even last time I was there, though, 700 rooms. When I was there, this was a while ago, only 30 people had moved in. They'd still rather not have a home than be there. It's so ugly and dark.
Oh my gosh.
But I want to do it. We're going to do it.
A lot of the, I know we're kind of running out of time here, but the Cecil Hotel, obviously we watch you and Ghost Adventures and what have you, we've done that show. A lot of occasions we've investigated, we always find there's kind of like one dominant person, male, female spirit there, a kind of control one. We've found there's in a few locations we've been to. Would you say that that's the same in the Cecil? Would you say that there's maybe one dominant, boss-like spirit there?
That's evil.
That likes to control everything.
It controls. Spirits are stuck there, and a lot of the spirits stuck there are people like down and out spirit people who died there of overdoses and stuff. Because when I was there with Corey and Nelton, I was like, literally, I thought I was talking. They just heard gibberish. They played it backwards. I was speaking English backwards. That's how I was channeling. With Ghost Adventures, I almost jumped out of. They thought I was going to jump out of a window because of 700 rooms. I led them right to a window, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. I opened the window.
I remember that.
Next, screaming at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" And the part of me that I was still Patti was like, why is he yelling at me? He doesn't yell at me. Why? And I'm like, I just got to get out of here. And they had a little SLS guy dancing on my head, made me sit down. Then I led him to another room where I'm like, I was being attacked, and I led him right to a room. A woman was like raped and murdered. But with Corey and the guys, it's just crazy. I spoke backwards. Yeah, it is a big, I don't know if it's a demon. It could be. Or it could be, I almost think, a created one, which can create egregore, so much evil, so much negativity creates a spirit of its own, a created, with the Richard Ramirez, 2 serial killers, so many deaths, so many murders, so much going on.
Yeah. It's just a whole cloud of
cloud of
awfulness, isn't it? Totally.
Yeah.
I do have one more burning question to ask you, Patti, because I remembered it from the previous conversation we had. It's about people who are very close to you that pass, but they don't give you any sign. Like maybe you said to the person, like, okay, so if you pass away, you're going to come back, right? And you're going to let me know that you're okay, or you're going to do something to show that there's an afterlife, but nothing happens. What would you say?
I would say, I mean, sometimes they do, and sometimes they can. Or working through a medium, what's our secret code? Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. It's easier to say, send me this kind of a bird or this kind of a sign, things that spirits can do. And sometimes when they don't, I think maybe it's just not necessarily for that living person. Like if you're in school on both sides and you've passed on, and okay, mom, let me know what it is, but you need that person to move on in their day life, and maybe they're obsessing about it. Maybe it's the bigger picture of is that you need them to move on. Not that, oh, I don't want to. That's human belief systems, human limitations. It's not that they don't want to. Maybe it's just not the right thing to do. Or maybe they are trying to talk to you, which I think a lot of the time it is, and people just are oblivious to it because they want a burning bush of Moses. But it's like someone comes on all the right time, or they get this feeling in their heart and think about their mom. That's spirit talking to them.
Or even dreams, right?
Dreams, yeah. Put a glass. My dream school technique works. Put a glass of water by the side of your bed at night. Charge it with what you want. We are 60% water. I want to talk to dead mom, grandma, whatever. You will get it in dream time or just in downloads. Water is magic. I mean, all of the science stuff that's proving that. I do. Besides dream water now, pain water, insomnia water, nightmare water. You could charge it however you want.
Wow.
I think this is my theories for you lined up that, you know, if you get a close one, a parent that passes away, and I think sometimes they'll only come to you when they think you really need them. Yeah. You know, and the rest of the time they'll just stand back. They'll still be there, you know, running about you, but they'll just stand back and let you go on with it. But if they think in their minds, right, you know, Patti, she's a wee bit of bother, so I'm going to kind of make myself known just now. To give you that I'm just using you as an example, Patti.
No, I'm just trying to understand you, my friend.
Oh,
that Scottish accent, it's like, it's killing me.
We're doing so well.
Yeah.
You know, I think that your loved one will leave you in peace until they feel you really need their help or their guidance, you know, whatever. Otherwise, they'll just let you go on with your life day to day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, until you goof up, basically. You know, but we'll wind up there. I know you're a busy lady, and Kate is as well. But I'll keep a hold of you just for 2 wee seconds after we come off, if that's all right.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, Patti, for your time. It's gone so quickly, and I've loved having this time with you, and really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I've learned a lot in this hour.
Pleasure. Thank you. You're both great hosts, even when I don't understand you, Scott. Nice to great questions, great everything. My pleasure.
Excellent. So what's up next for Patti Negri?
I'm next week. I'm leaving to go film with the Ghost Finders, which is one of our Paraflix teams. And then I'm kind of on the road. I'm going to be doing Hex Fest in August in New Orleans, like 5 days of real, like I'm teaching 3 different workshops, a panel. And then I'm going to Michigan Paracon, which is a big Paracon. And then I'm just on the road. Texas, Massachusetts, somewhere else, Tasmania.
Wow.
Well, I don't know. I'll wake up going, where am I?
We've got one of your Paraflix teams coming on Thursday, GSI. I don't know if you know them. They're coming on Thursday, an English team. So
Good.
They're actually one of the first teams they're actually one of the teams that we first interviewed when we first started, and we've formed quite a close bond with them. We regard them as family more than anything else, you know. They were one of our first interviews that we did, and we've investigated with them at Sherwood Forest.
Beautiful.
2 years ago at Halloween. So they're coming. They're on Paraflix. I think they're on their 4th season now on Paraflix, and really doing well. So
Yeah, I love our little platform. It gives people an opportunity. There's beautiful material out there. There's beautiful content out there, and we just want to give people an opportunity to get their good content out there.
when they're on Thursday, I'll give you a wee mention. How's that, Patty?
What? Translate, Kate. What did he say?
Scott said he'll give you a mention on Thursday, if that's okay.
Give me a mention on Thursday. Thank you.
I'll put your name in somewhere in the conversation. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Okay.
But I wish you all the best, Patti, with like all of your stuff. Like, you're a busy lady and it's all amazing stuff. So yeah, I just really hope it all goes well.
Thank you.
Great.
If anybody wants to know more, go to pattinegri.com, and there you can find your power panties, my podcast, Witching Hour, my Witches Movie Coven, my free magic lessons, and my school. So
I'll definitely be checking that out. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So we'll wind it up there, folks. A big, massive thank you to Patty for coming in. We will be seeing her again. She's not getting away that easy.
Nah.
No, never does, and she never will. There's a threat. And a big thanks to Kate as well. She's over there.
Thank you for having me on.
Our pleasure, doll. Our pleasure. And thanks everybody for watching and for your comments, etc. So we shall see you again very, very soon. So enjoy the rest of your night or afternoon, whatever time of day it might be, and we'll talk to you soon. So take care, folks. Bye. Bye.